Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque Painting Live Workshop on February 27th at 7 Central Time. And we're working on our winter birds, which coordinates with our monthly subscription box for February. So we had left off with our cardinals painting out last week. We had dry brushed them with the rust, and I think you guys were going to catch up to that point. And so this is what they will look like when we're done. So I hope everyone had a good week. So we have them in rust, and we're going to grab a dry brush here, and I carried some home last week, so I got to bring some back. Cordy says I carried paint home too, so we're going to have to label them so they stay here. So I'm going to start with our OS503, our Barnyard Red, and I'm going to have Courtney type that in on the feed so everyone can see what we're using. So it's OS503 Barnyard Red. That way you can read in the comment what color I'm at in case you can't see the name of it. Again, it's OS503 Barnyard Red. And it's just an acrylic paint, and it's the Duncan brand. So I'm going to shake it up a little bit. And I'm going to put some on my foil here. And we're going to just touch the edge of our brush, dry brush. So this is a Royal & Langnickel size 5 boar bristle dry brush. And I'm just going to touch the edge of my paint. And then I'm going to brush it out on my paper towel, or you can use a coffee filter or a paper plate. So you basically want a dry brush with the red in it. Courtney's got me talking over there on the computer, so she's got to mute something. So now I'm going to just brush back and forth across my texture, and we're going to slowly build up our red on top of our rust. And you want to go across your texture instead of with it. If you go with it, it's going to fill in with the red. And we do want some of the black left in the crevices. Basically a dry brush. That's why it's called dry brushing. And we're going to just brush back texture and start on one side of the bird and work our way around. And you do have to change either the angle of your brush or the bird. So you're going to cross that texture. And then we'll work our way around, and then while we're doing that, the other area that we just did will dry. So you just want lots of nice thin layers. And you want to do your bottoms. You always want to make sure your bottoms look as good as the rest of it. So if someone picks it up and looks at it, it looks nice. So I'm just brushing across my texture. You can brush as a straight line, or you can do like little C strokes to kind of rub it in a little more. And that was pretty wet there. You can see that's real wet, so I'm going to brush my brush out and try to brush that out. So that's what you don't want. That's too wet. So we'll just grab a little red again and brush it out. Brush back and forth. So the red goes on a lot quicker than the rust did, but that rust base coat really helps the red go on, or we would be here for a week trying to get that red to be red. So let's see what we got for comments going on here. It looks like we're pretty busy tonight. And my screen is stuck. Oh, there we go. So we got Carol and Shirley and Lisa. And a stuck screen again. We got Sue. So we're asking what color red. We're using the Barnyard Red OS503, and Courtney did put that in the comments. We're going to try to add in the comments every time I change colors. That way you guys can see it. You can't always see the names on the bottles. Even though I say them, it's probably easier just to have it in the news feed there, and then you can see it. It would also be on the instructions that the subscriber boxes came, and then Courtney says it's in the video description as well. So I'm just grabbing my red and I'm going across my texture Just going to build up our color here. My screen's not cooperating. It's like stuck on the page there. I don't know what's with that, but so we're just going to brush across, slowly build it up. Again, you want to go across your texture instead of with it. And it's okay if you get the beak and the eyes, because we'll be working on that when we're get all our red on there that we want. We'll go back and touch it up. No, I guess so. So just brushing back and forth. This is a little bit of a darker red. If you wanted a brighter red, you could use the Duncan Real Red. So just brushing back and forth across it, getting the bottom again, under that tail, and the end of the tail. So hope everyone had a good week, and the week went by super fast again. It's been a kind of a hectic week here. More hectic than normal, Courtney says. That's true. And we had our orders Courtney had to go pick up for our Bisque box shipment next week for the paint, and well, let's see what else was in there. Tree light kits, stilt stones, more brushes, more brush on glitter, paint. Lots of stuff, 5 boxes worth. I think she's got that all cataloged in and recorded. We did have one broke bottle of paint that got on some of the other ones, so I'm going to inherit those bottles. So let's see what else. I fired the kiln the last 2 days. Brought Courtney a bunch of bisque for the bisque drop from yesterday. And we'll go over the eggs when we're done with our birds so you can actually see the different sizes. And then Courtney says she'll post them in the morning. So we're going to do our March box will be the Hoppy Easter stack with the bunny with the eggs. And then the 2 big eggs, they're actually size medium from Clay Magic. But they are a bigger egg because I thought they were closer to a chicken egg size, but they're probably closer to an ostrich egg. And we'll paint them up as a chick, a girl and a boy chick, and you'll get your little extras, the ribbon and the little hair fluff will be coming in the box for that. And then we'll probably have extra time at the end. I will take maybe 4 to 6 eggs. Probably this size egg, the chicken egg here. And we'll do some other techniques. One of them will be using shaving cream, and those will go really quick, so that's why we can probably do those like on the last show. Courtney says I'm gravitating to the top. Usually I going the other way. So we'll do shaving cream egg, and we'll do the soap bubble blowing egg. What was the other one? I already forgot on the way down here. Oh, we'll do one with a crackle finish.
How do you do that?
Courtney asks, how do you do that? You do a base coat over an acrylic, and then you paint on the Elmer's Glue All glue, and you let it set up for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you paint your next layer, usually a lighter color, and then as that glue dries, it makes the paint on top crackle. So we'll be doing that one. Then there's another one where you can wrap string or rubber bands around. Well, first you would base coat the egg and then wrap string or rubber bands around it, and then do another coat of another color and let it dry and take the rubber bands or the string off. So those 4 for sure, maybe a metallic one and then something else. So I have a list going. I just have to decide which ones we're going to do. So if you want to buy like the extra set of those chicken egg size eggs that are going to come in a set of 4, and we'll go through the different eggs that you could add. I have a large stand-up egg, I have a set of 3 vertical, a set of 3 horizontal. It's like large, medium, and small. It's really a cute set. Then we have the little robin egg or blueberry jelly bean size. And I think we'll do those too as an example. We'll make them actually look like robin eggs. We'll base coat them probably baby blue, and then do some speckling with either a brush or a toothbrush so you can learn how to speckle. So that'll be the 5th one, and then I'll come up with one more. So I'm going to let him dry. He's pretty much covered. It's just the black is left in the creases yet. So I'm going to grab some more of our Duncan OS567 Barnyard Red. So we'll be able to put those extra eggs in your boxes if you want to order those and pay for them. And we'll be paying for the shipping because we'll cover the shipping on the box.
Is there such a thing as a cellophane technique?
So someone asked if there's a cellophane technique. I'm not sure. I mean,
Like a plastic wrap?
like, yeah, you could take a like base coat it and then take some colors, maybe like 2 or 3 colors, and take either like saran wrap or a shopping bag and dab your saran wrap into that, and then dab your egg. So basically anything you do with the real eggs you can do with these ceramic eggs. Any kind of technique that you're doing as far as coloring your eggs you can do on these eggs. If you have access to a kiln, you could even they are fired to cone 04, so you could glaze them, and they could be fired then in the kiln and have the nice glaze finish. One of our ladies did that with Tutti Frutti and some of the bright springy glazes, bubblegum, and those are really cute, really nice and bright. They have like the crystal glazes, so that's another way you could do that if you have access to a kiln. I mean, we kind of focus on the non-fired techniques because a lot of our people do not have access to a kiln, so that's why you will see us doing the non-fired techniques more than anything for our Thursday night painting live, because that's based on our Bisque box that ships the 1st of the month always. The 5th of the 5th, the day is the 5th, and we're actually going to have to extend that to 2 days, so I think it'll be the 5th and the 6th that we'll be shipping. Didn't we talk about that?
No.
I thought we did on the phone last night. That it's going to take 2 days to ship instead of 1.
Yeah, I was trying to do it the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th.
So Courtney says maybe the 4th and the 5th. So shipping is probably going to, what did you say?
It ships on the 5th.
It ships on the 5th, but we're up to the amount of boxes that it's going to take more than 1 day to ship.
Yeah, I'm actually at the 4th and the 5th.
The 4th and the 5th, she's saying. So I think we're both on the same page now that we have enough boxes that it's going to take 2 days to ship and not 1. So, but she says the 4th and the 5th instead of the 5th and the 6th. So okay, we got that squared out. So if you can pay for your boxes, the sooner when she invoices them, the better, because then we can get a head start on them. So I'm just back to my bird here so we don't get lost in what we're doing. We're dry brushing our cardinals, and I'm just using that Barnyard red and getting a nice coat of red on him by brushing back and forth across my texture. We go across the texture because we don't want all that shading to be gone by filling it in with the red by going with the texture. And we want to get the bottom.
Are there hummingbirds like this?
Cordy asked if there's hummingbirds like this. I would think Riverview has hummingbirds, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there are hummingbird molds. I don't know if Riverview had them, like, to coordinate with these in particular, but I mean, there's a lot of bird molds. There's lots of eagles and so I'm just brushing back and forth, getting my bottom, getting under his tail, getting the end of his tail. going across that texture. And because this rust dried really well from last week, the color's going on there really quick. It's like sucking it right up, so that's kind of an advantage to letting your base coat and then like your first layer of dry brush color sit and dry for a little while. Like this red went on really nice and fast.
Would you like to let it sit a day, or?
So Courtney asked, would you let it sit a day? You wouldn't have to let it sit a whole day, but you can let it sit maybe for an hour and come back and do it. It would really help. Usually I'm doing stuff in batches, so like I would sit these down and like do the next batch, and I'd probably be doing maybe 10 sets of them, so by the time I get to that 10th set and come back to the first one, it's nice and dry. But if you just have the one set and you think your color's not going on, just let it dry and come back to it maybe an hour later, and you'll find that it'll absorb the color better. So that's our nice little cardinals. We just got the black in the creases. We'll see if I can bring it up, and you can see it's just in the creases. Maybe, I don't know if it's even a quarter coverage. Between an eighth and a quarter of the bird is covered with the black, and then the rest is covered with the red. And you can let more black or cover up more red. It's kind of, or cover up. You can let red, let black. Let's start over. It's been a long day already. So you can leave as much black or little black as you would like. Let's put it like that. So if you only want a little bit of black showing through, just keep dry brushing it until it gets to the point of where the amount of black that you want. I mean, you do want some because that's what's giving your texture and depth to your piece. So I probably do about 1/8 to 1/4% in black, and then the rest is in the red. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to just switch back to the other one quick. Get a little more color on it. So let's see, do we have more messages on here? This thing likes to stay. Huh? Courtney's, no, mine isn't either. Maybe it's a slow night here tonight. That's okay. Huh? Quiet night, Courtney says. So I believe tomorrow Courtney's going to be posting the pre-order for March 15th boxes. Friday? Didn't you have that somewhere? She's giving me the blank look again. Oh my God, Courtney, what's up?
I don't know. Possibly, yes.
Okay, let's say by Monday, Courtney will have the, we will be doing pre-orders for a second batch of boxes of the Easter box.
I gotta talk to the people about the paint. I need more paint.
Oh, Courtney says no, we have to check on the paint yet.
I gotta call them around paint.
So we will be doing it, we just need a date.
I don't have a date yet.
We don't have a date yet, I guess.
I can give you a date Monday.
We will be doing it, but we don't have a date. How's that? Because we actually got all a lot of the paint that they had.
We got all of it.
So we have to see if we can, when they're ordering more paint, so we can get more paint. In case those that are ordering the second release wants paint, which she's shaking her head, they want paint. Right, so it'll be depend upon when they get their supplies in, because we cleaned out a lot of the colors that they had. So she's checking on that tomorrow, and then we'll let you know. But we will be doing a second box release. We just need to get a date on it because we have the chalk secured, and that should be on its way. No, I mean I didn't either, but I mean. No, that comes to my house. That I didn't change the address on that. So the paint's been ordered. We talked with Royal and Langnickel, and that's taken care of. But now we have to get paint secured. So that'll be the next thing, and then we will be doing the second release, and I'll be pouring those as soon as we get the boxes shipped on the 5th. So, and I'm still pouring for those boxes too, because we had a bit of an influx, which is great. So there's our cute little cardinals. They're looking pretty red. You can see it's just in the crevices.
Pull it closer to the table and then put your hand above it. Yeah, it'll focus better.
So Courtney's telling me how to make it focus. Let's see if that worked. I don't know about that.
You gotta keep it down. Yeah, there you go. Focus.
Okay. But now it switched back out, didn't it?
The autofocus, so it's gonna adjust every time you move.
So that's our cardinal. He's got just the black left in the crevices. Okay, so now I'm going to put my red brush down, and we want to add our little face mask, our black. I must have dreamt because I thought we already did this part. Must have been on something, what? I don't know. So now I'm going to go back, I'm going to go and get some, I would have swore we painted something red already. Hope we ain't doing these for the second time.
I wouldn't think so. Where'd that come from then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did we paint these already? No, we couldn't have because they were in rust. I must have dreamt that I painted them already. That's how chaotic it's been here, you guys. Okay, so anyway, we have another lesson on birds. If we did. It can't hurt, right? So I have my black, and that's just, oh, you want to type this in, the OS479 Duncan Black. Courtney's going to type that in the feed, so if anyone's wondering what color we got, it's OS476 Black. And now I have a Royal and Lang nickel. I'm just grabbing the black one because my little ones are gone. I took them home apparently. So it's a size 3. It's a smaller dry brush. And I'm going to just dab in my black, and I'm going to brush this out. So I'm going to start at the corner of his eye and come to his face, kind of do like our Lone Ranger mask. So I don't know, did we just talk about that?
You had a cardinal on Frosty.
Oh, a cardinal on Frosty, is that why I'm thinking of it? I don't know. So we want our nice little face mask on him. On Frosty, well, maybe that's it. So I'm going to start in at the back of his eye and kind of get that triangle and come across the top of his beak. And you can always look at pictures too. And I'm just brushing back and forth and filling that in, kind of get this point back here.
I think Ross was shared some nice pictures in the Bisque group.
Yep. And then I want to pick a point, about a ½ inch down from the bottom of his beak. And I want to bring that to a point down there. So I'm just going to brush down to a point underneath his beak. So that's about right there.
It was the Frosty box.
Well, thank you, Connie. We're losing it. There's too much going on. So I'm just grabbing my black. And now I'm going to go from the corner of this eye on the other side. And then come down to his beak again and meet up that triangle. It's okay if you get it on the beak. And we're just going to brush that out a little bit, get it filled in more. So now we're going to come back to the corner of his eye and come up over his beak again. So this should be a little bigger than, or a little better, easier than the Frosty one because this one's a little bigger, I think. So we're just making his little mask that's on his eyes and face here. And bring that triangle down. And I usually do a little bit of a rounded up over the beak just because I don't want it just a straight line. So I'll do it more rounded here.
Like a curve?
Like a curve, yep. So I don't want just a straight line. That wouldn't, I don't know. It wouldn't look natural, yep. So then I'm going to take this and just work it back a little further, just get that little bit of a peek past his point, past his eye there.
Are you going for like a full coverage area or just...
So Courtney asked if we're going for a full coverage with the black. Yes, pretty much. So now this one, it's down a little bit on this side, so I want to get that up just a little bit more because it looks like it's diving down and it's not even with the other side. And then we'll work our little peak over here, our point. And then just work our triangle out just a little bit more there. And bring it down to that point. So this is where the flat brush works really good at doing this too instead of the round brush. You can get more of a point on your triangle there with the flat one instead of the round one. So I want to look at him and just make sure it looks kind of even and make sure my eyes are covered. Bring it right up to the beak, and we'll touch the beak up with the rust when we're done. So it looks like it could use a little more right there because it's kind of divoted in. So we'll just get a little more, just start in the black and work out so you can see how much you're adding. And I'm just doing those little miniature C strokes to do that. So that looks pretty good. And you just want to look at it. Like you want to compare sides so that it's like your black is like the same width over the eyes and the same length back. So this one looks like it could be a little darker on the back part there. It was a little further back on this side. And then you want to, the width be from the beak to the black to where the red starts. You kind of want that the same on both sides. So it looks like it could be a little wider on this side. It just makes it more real looking, and like you wouldn't want one side really fat and the other side real skinny, because that isn't how it would look in real. So he looks pretty good, and we'll put him aside, and we're going to grab the other one now. And I just grabbed my black and brushed it out. And I usually start with that point on one of the eyes. Bring it over to the beak, kind of up across the top in an arc. And then we'll come to the other eye. So I usually start back at the back side of the eye and bring it forward, trying to get that point back there. And then work it back to the beak, just like we did on the other side. And now I'm going to go about right there, so that's where you can put your thumb right there. So now we're going to start from our corner of our eye and just bring it down. And then you can start from the corner of the other eye and bring it down. So that's one way you can do that. So I'm just going to look at him, and that looks pretty even. And now we can just fill that in. Bring it right up to the beak. It's okay if you get it on the beak. We'll be touching that up with the rust. So we're just brushing back and forth. And it doesn't matter if you go against the grain here or the texture here or off or with it, excuse me, because we're actually filling it in. We're not going to really let any red left. You can have it more solid black towards the beak and then get less as you get out, so it looks more feathered and layered and not just a solid straight black line. And I'm just coming back by my eye and trying to get a nice point on that. Get my little curve across the top of the beak there. Just gives it more real looking instead of that straight line. And now we got to get our point over here a little better. It's not too much of a point there. And then I'm just going to fill in on the side here. And just brushing our black in there to darken it up a little more. So that's how simple the cardinals are to do. It's just putting that little Lone Ranger mask on him. So that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go to my rust. Courtney wants to add that now, our Doc Holliday DH28 rust. So we're going to try to remember to always add our colors to the feed so you guys can see what we're doing. So now I'm actually going to switch to a clean dry brush because I'm switching colors altogether here. Let's see, I'm going to go to one of my smaller ones. And I have my Royal and Langnickel size 1, and I think he's older than forever. And I'm just going to go in my rust, brush it out, and now we want to brush that onto our beak because they have an orangish beak. And you could highlight it with orange if you wanted to as well after it's got the rust on it. I don't think we used orange in this box just to save on the colors, but you could highlight it with a little bit of a brighter orange yet, just a little bit. So I'm just getting on the beak and bringing it to the black, to the top side and the underside. You do want to try to leave where the two beaks meet, that black. You don't want to cover that all up. If you can try to let that line there, that'll give it shape. I'm just covering up our beak. So now we'll go to the other one. And we'll just do the same thing. So how did you guys like the Bisque drop yesterday? Was that a good thing to do or not such a good thing to do?
I got messages.
Did you like the stuff? Courtney says she's got messages to get back to people with, lots of them. It's just we've just really been busy with it, so she's working at it. But if you messaged or you commented, she'll get through them, and we'll make sure you get your stuff in your box next week. Courtney asks if I'm off tomorrow. Yep, I'm off tomorrow, so I can clean bunnies and get them fired. So I'm just dry brushing our rust on our beak here. Just building the color up a little at a time. And we'll go back to the other one and add a little more to him, because now that dried while we were doing that other one. And we'll get a little bit more on here. Work it towards the black yet of the feathers. So now if you had orange, you could put a little bit of orange right on the dry brush on the tip. It would just give it a little extra highlight. What?
A lot of them have orange peel.
Yep. So a lot of you should have the orange peel from the other boxes. If you have just a brighter orange than the rust, just to highlight it a little bit. And just on the top, because that's where the light would be hitting it. Alrighty, so there we got our little our little cardinals. You could also take, like if you, like this was Barnyard red, if you wanted, you could take the real red and go over the top part here, and maybe the top of his head just to brighten that up too if you wanted. So now I'm going to grab our, Courtney says we got a question. Do you see any of the rust under the Barnyard red, or is it to just change the shade of red? So you really don't see the rust through the red, but the rust helps the red be more red. I don't know if that helps make sense, because red is a hard color to get the color to come to actually be red. So if you use a rust under a red or even an orange, it just makes your red redder. So really when I dry brushed my rust, I actually put the same amount of red. I didn't leave any of the rust showing through. It's covered with the red. We just use the rust as a color enhancer for the red. So I hope that makes sense. So now we're going to use our Duncan OS567 white, and we're going to put some little white dots in our eyes. And it's just going to take a little drop. And we're going to grab one of our ball styluses that was in our last month's box. And I'm going to use the littlest tip that I have, and I'm going to dip in my white. And I'm going to rest my hand on the table so it's nice and steady, and I got my bird in there nice and steady. And then I'm going to rest my dotting hand right on my bird too, and I'm going to go in the top right about 1 o'clock and put just a little white dot. And then I'm going to turn and do the same thing on the other eye, but this time it'll be at the 11 o'clock. I got to make sure I'm doing it right. Actually, it'll be at the 1 o'clock on the other eye also, because we don't want him looking cross-eyed. So I got to get a little more white on there. And you just want them the same size for both eyes, so they just look better that way. If they're one's big and one's little, it won't look right.
You should warn them about one of the extras next month.
Huh?
Your unique extra next month. You should give them a heads up.
Oh, there's a little tool coming in your box for next month for making eyes, the black part of eyes on a flat surface.
A unique tool.
It's very unique. You won't believe it when you get it. So we use that to make the eyes on the chicks, and it's going to make it super, super easy. So it's included in your little kit. I don't want to blow the surprise too much, but you're going to be shocked when you get it. So now I grabbed my white, and I'm going to do my 1 o'clock on each eye again. It was something I tried when I did the chicks, and it worked out perfect, and I'll be using it quite often from now on. So there we have our little white dots in our eyes. And we have our little cardinals all done. So I like to spray those with a very flat finish, which is the matte now. It used to be the porcelain before. Yep, the matte. SS342, it's a matte. It gives a very flat finish, so they look more natural, or not going to be shiny. If you want a little bit of shine, you could use the satin, which was the former matte. And we're out of all of them until we get to the show, because the shipping is expensive because they're heavy. So there's our little cute cardinals. So now we'll set those aside and dry off my little brush here and get a new piece of paper, and we'll switch to our chickadees. And they're pretty simple too. So we will start with our ash. Cordy wants to add this OS567 ash for our chickadees. I keep wanting to call them cardinals, but they're chickadees. OS567 ash. It's a medium gray. Cordy said should have all the grays if you're a subscriber and purchasing them. Yep, Snow Cloud Gray is a little bit lighter, I think. So now I'm just going to switch to about a 5 or an 8 dry brush will do. I have the Royal & Langnickel size 8, and that's in our beginner's brush kit. So I'm just grabbing my ash and brushing it out. So now you can do most of right up to the head. With the gray, you don't have to do the head part. We'll do that in black, but we can bring right up to the eyes and under the beak we'll do with the gray. And just like with the red, we're going to dry brush across our texture. And we're going to do about 3/4 of the coverage with the gray, just like we did with the red with the cardinals. And just like before, I'm going to cross our texture. So this color goes on really nice and easy and quick. So I'm just going to go right up to the eye, because we will have the white underneath that, so it's good to have a little bit of gray underneath there too. Gives you a gradual change in your color. So just brushing across our texture right onto the bottom. So that's a little heavy right there, so I should actually brush my brush out so it's a little drier. And we're just going to keep going right around, come about to the crown of the head and come back around to the other side. Courtney's cat is being a little bit naughty. Whoa, way too much. I'm going to actually try to wipe that off. You can wipe that off quick too. He broke stuff yesterday when he got on the table. When I was unloading the kiln, and broke that cracked egg in a crackpot bunny girl. But he likes to sit at the top step and not come upstairs until you give him a treat. And he's getting really bad about it.
He's got you trained.
Well, he didn't get no treat last night because I left him sit there and I went to bed.
He got treats tonight.
So he thinks he can sit there until you jiggle the treat jar for him to come upstairs to get a treat. And he just sits there until you do it and won't come. So, and I don't like to let him down there when I'm not down there because he gets into stuff. So I'm talking too much, and as you can see, that's kind of smeary there now. So that was too wet, but it'll build up because that's about the color that we want it, so it's okay. Otherwise, you could paint it black. No, she's got a couple though. Hers broke one of the crackpot bunnies on her too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They like to help.
That's not help. So we're just going across our texture, getting our tail underneath the tail, just building up our gray, leaving about 10%, 10%, 15% in the black, or a quarter of it, I guess. Let's see, the weather wasn't too bad this week. We didn't have too much snow at all. Well, today it's been cold and windy though. Courtney says it's frigid cold. I don't know if it's frigid cold, but I mean, it ain't the worst. So Courtney says 40 this week, and I did see reports that we have robins are here, and some sandhill cranes are here. Something else was here too as far as a bird. I know the hummingbirds last week had reached the United States, Florida, and Texas. So hopefully we're going to have an early spring and maybe a really nice spring once. So I'm just dry brushing my gray. I got to build it up because I kind of got it too thick there in a couple places. No, last year's spring wasn't much of a spring. We went kind of from winter to spring.
And then spring was in everybody's basement.
And spring was in everybody's basement. Yeah, they had water here last year, but I think Jason's got it fixed, so hopefully they don't have water in the basement this year.
Everybody had water in the basement last year.
So, I didn't.
Here in Appleton, they did.
Oh, Courtney says in Appleton, a lot of people had water. Was there a lot of snow or a lot of rain or what? Why?
Frozen. It didn't have anywhere to go.
So I'm just brushing back and forth, trying to get my gray nice and even. Because I have it kind of blotchy because I'm running my mouth and not paying attention to what I'm doing. I brought Courtney a bunch of Easter bisque so she can update quantities. And I think probably a couple things that she don't have posted. I brought rabbits. I don't know if you They were on the website before, but I don't think they're in the album.
No. I don't know. Crazy morning.
So I did bring you rabbits, that set of 3 and the set of 2, them little ones.
Yeah, we have to talk about
I know they're on the website, but I don't think they're in the album.
you're out of stock and everything but the food.
Yeah, so our webpage has low stock, but it's been really hard to get anything restocked. Once May gets here, hopefully by June it'll pick up, because I'll be doing this full time, and I'll have more time to get stuff poured and cleaned and get it on there. Huh?
You can start getting ready for fall then. Do a lot of fall molds.
Yeah, we have lots of fall molds, Halloween. So looking forward to doing that. Lots of pumpkins. Yep. But you probably won't notice that until June, because my last day at work is May 15th, but I mean, you still have to pour it and clean it and fire it before it's available, so
Are you going to take a day off?
probably not, I don't know. So by the time June rolls around, we'll have more stuff on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. The Bisque is pretty low right now. I haven't been able to restock what we put on last fall. It's sold out, and it haven't had the time to do it. So that's one thing you'll notice with me not working, is the amount of Bisque should go up. I hope to have classes locally on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Probably open class. They can paint whatever you want, or you can. I'll probably also have scheduled classes like mosaic mushrooms and mosaic stepping stones and concrete leaves. Maybe some basket weaving, stained glass. Different ceramic projects. I know we want to have a class list started of things I want to do, from the vintage Christmas tree to the vintage truck, pumpkins, snowmen, lots of personalized stuff. That way, like the snowmen could have your name cut out, and then you could come in and work on it. Maybe like have a Saturday snowman class and a Saturday truck class, and mushroom class, frog class with some crystal glazes. So now I have this kind of gobbed on here where it was too wet when I did it, so I need to build up the rest of this a little bit more to blend that in. So once May gets here, the 15th, like I said, is my last day at work, and then we'll be able to focus on more Bisque. More, besides our Thursday night painting lives, I want to do painting videos where you could purchase the Bisque, hopefully from us, and then go on YouTube, or I don't know if Cordy will put it on here on YouTube. We have to figure that out. And then you could paint the piece at your convenience. The sloth is one of those that I want to do that with. Is have the Bisque. Have the sloth available to purchase, but then I want to actually paint him and have her record it, and then we'll post it on YouTube, and then you could buy the Bisque and then paint it at your pace, kind of like we did when we were doing our test videos with the harvest pumpkin and the raccoon. Like those are out there to watch at any time. And I think we probably sold the last raccoon. I probably need to pour another one of that. Right? So I'm just dry brushing out our ash gray, getting it to where about 75% of our bird is covered with the ash and only about a quarter with the black mainly in the creases. So that's kind of some of the stuff that's going on here. We'll have to get out to the shop and get chairs and tables and all that kind of stuff set up and get that organized with supplies and bisque and paint. And Cordy says we can sleep next year. Yeah, that's kind of it. it's been kind of tough because we went right, I mean, the craft show started in August, and then we got into Christmas. And then I had Christmas orders to finish up in January for people that had after Christmas parties. And then we had our Bisque boxes, and then February is a short month here, so we barely got done with the Bisque boxes, and we're right back at the Bisque boxes. So, for example, my day we'll start with last night. I got home from work last night. Gotta think, what did I do? I poured molds, and I fired the kiln while I was pouring the molds, and then I went to bed about 11. I got up at 6 and took molds apart. Then I poured some molds again, the ones that weren't poured last night. Then I was to work by 8. Got off at 4:30, unloaded the kiln to bring stuff to Courtney. Took the molds apart that I poured this morning. Loaded up the car with that stuff. Came to Courtney's it was a little late this time. It was 6:45. I usually try to get here at 6:30, but it took longer to unload the kiln and unmold molds, and then I put the fan on them to get them dry. And now we're doing our painting class, and I'll leave here when we're done. And then I will, once I get home, I have 2 more molds to take apart. And I have another batch that I'm going to pour tonight yet. Yep, and so then I'll try to get to bed by 10:30 or 11. I'm off tomorrow to clean greenware, so I'll probably sleep in till 7. Get up, clean greenware, hopefully get the kiln loaded by 4, and then I can fire it again. And I'll keep cleaning while that's firing, and it should be done by 9:30. Get to bed by 10, get up Saturday morning, unload it, load it back up, hopefully with the stuff that I cleaned while it was firing. So that's kind of a typical day for me at this point right now. Sometimes I will get up at like 2 in the morning if I poured smaller things that weren't ready to come out of the molds when I went to bed, so that they're not too dried out by morning. I'll get up in the middle of the night and take those apart. So it kind of depends what's going on. So just get in a nice even coat of our ash, brushing back and forth across our texture, and he's just about where he needs to be. I had a couple places where I got too much paint because I was talking too much, so you can see like right there was one of them, and it's pretty even now. I can get a little more on this other side, and that'll blend it together better. So same thing with the tail here. I was gabbing and got too much on there, so I got to get this other side to equal it, and then it won't look like it's out of place. So that's our gray, and he looks pretty good. I'm liking him. He's a little spotty here in the front here, but we'll get a little brown on there, and that'll help cover that up too. So you kind of got to pay attention when you're doing this and not just gab away like I was doing. So you get too much paint on it at one spot. So we'll set him aside and we'll go to our other one. So how are we doing on time, Courtney, as she's laying there with her head on the desk? Oh boy. Yep. Almost 8, okay. We should be able to get this guy gray, and then I will show you the eggs, and then we'll be able to finish this guy up next week because that won't take long. And then we will do our blue jay as another example. Oh. They'll be black. We usually base coat all the birds with black. Courtney asked what will we base coat the blue jays with. We'll do the blue jays in black too, and that'll just be the cardinal bird, but we'll paint it to be a blue jay.
Do you want a Chickadees base
Oh, are you going to base coat for me?
Okay.
Oh, Courtney's going to base coat black. She likes base coating black, but that's it. And then our chickadee we're going to paint as a finch and a bluebird. We should have time for that. It'll go pretty quick. So just do 2 chickadees and one cardinal for the blue jay. That'll be fine. Otherwise I can do it too. So we're just doing our ash on our other chickadee. Just going to build that up just like we did with the first one. Come right up to his head, go across your texture. Let's see what else is going on. I'm getting low on slip, so I'm going to be ordering slip. Once it warms up, I'm actually going to order clay and the talc and mix it myself. But I want to do that outside and not in the house. So we're going to order a pallet of the box slip and then go with the powdered stuff on the next batch. What else is going on, Courtney? Courtney says that's plenty. Well, we're getting ready to ship you guys' boxes. There's a lot going on with that. The flyers are going to be stuffed. Courtney's got paint everywhere because some of you are getting all the colors. Some of you are getting just the new colors. Some are getting extra colors. So she's working on the paint. She's working on the inventory list for the Bisque. Let me see, an instruction sheet, yep, so that's got to get all stuffed. We're working on my niece is working on making the bows for the little boy and the little girl chicks. And then the little hair fluff. She's cutting and bagging that stuff for us. Another friend is she's crinkling paper for us this time. Because believe it or not, all that little stuff really adds up as far as taking time when it comes to actually shipping. And my sister's on a cruise, so she's not able to help us this week. But she might have to do double duty next week when she's back. Welcome back. We'll be fine by then. Let's see what else. I'm still cleaning and firing eggs and rabbits. And then those guys will all get bubble wrapped. Courtney's got the labels on the boxes. She's making labels. I made the directions for painting out the pieces, so you guys will have those again. That's going to be in all the boxes from now on. But she's got to take pictures and take the background out of the pictures and add it and get it looking all pretty and make the inventory sheet. So what else is going on as far as behind the scenes with that? We'll have to make boxes, but we don't do that until right before. So that's too thick, so I'm going to wipe that off. Otherwise we'd have a house of boxes. Yep, it would be. So let's see, what else? Yep, there's a lot that goes into the boxes. We got our supplies last week when I was here. We had I don't know if Courtney posted that. We had 6 rolls of bubble wrap, 3 packages of paper for crunching. What else was there? Oh, we got some extra. Oh, there's a special little extra coming in there. Since it's an Easter box, there's a little special. Courtney took care of that. She's got that all packaged up. Your little goodie bag thing. Let's see. Oh, we got the little bags to put those in too. So yep, lots of stuff, lots of planning going on and trying to get organized. And I poured a sample of our April box as well as the May. Remember?
No.
Yeah, the mushroom.
Oh, that's May.
Yep. So our April box is garden fairy themed, so I hope that's something you guys like. You'll have to let us know, but that's what it is at this point because we have the molds. We're committed. But I guess if you don't like them, then we'll know for next year not to do something like that. So it's going to be a fairy house and a boy fairy and a girl fairy. They're cute, yep. So I have to get those cleaned and fired so she can have a Bisque picture, and then get them painted so she can have the picture so that we can get the pre-order going sooner. February got kind of late on us because it was just such a short month. And then I do have the next month poured, which is a mushroom, which we will be glazing, the inside of. It's a 2-piece mushroom, the top and the bottom, so we'll be glazing that on the inside so it can go outside. And then we'll be painting it, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I got to see if I can come up with something different. But your piece will come glazed on the inside, and then we'll do a non-fire technique on the outside. And then there are some little butterflies that go with it.
Do you put them on, or do they?
They can put those on. They'll glue them on wherever they want them. So they're really cute. Then the next month is June, and June is a frog, some of those little faceless gnomes, and some dragonflies. So you guys kind of got the heads up on your next couple boxes by watching tonight. So I'm working on getting them poured earlier so we can get them posted earlier. I think with the fairy house, Courtney thought maybe we could do, I've been collecting fairy garden molds for different things because I just like them. So I know I have some little bridges and some little fences and a little gazebo, some little baskets and little benches, and so we might do a drop like we did with the Easter drop before the week before the box ships, and you guys could add any of those little accessories to your little fairy scene, and that would have the free shipping in the box again, as long as everything fits in there. I know I have cedar fence, and I have a stone fence, and a more fancy formal fence. Yeah, there's a little gazebo. There's a whole shelf of fairy garden accessories. I mean, they aren't sold as fairy garden accessories, but when I seen them, it's like, oh, that could be in a fairy garden. So there's a wishing well, yep. So there's a bunch of little extra things we could probably do a little Bisque drop with the week before that box ships too, so that'll be something to look forward to. So that should be fun. So Courtney said she thought I had little cabbage heads. Yep, I have little cabbages and little carrots and little baskets and little vases, and I think there's even some little dishes that could sit on a table. So it'll be a fun box. I made Courtney a fairy garden in her little red wagon that she had when she was a little girl. And then I have a little red wagon that I got at a rummage sale that I put a fairy garden in there with miniature plants, and so the little fairies will be good in there. Those should be kind of cute. And I have an old wheelbarrow that a friend was throwing out. That's got little fairy garden stuff in it too. So that maybe at the end we could actually somehow show pictures or video of a couple, how to put together your fairy garden. You know, with the dirt and then maybe a pre-recorded thing. You just put down the dirt, and then I had the different little small gravel that you can get at the where the aquarium stuff is. You can use that for your little paths and that kind of stuff. So I got him pretty much dry brushed about the same as the other one. So I think that's how far we were going to go with him. Got the bottom. You want to make sure you get the bottom. Get under your tail here. Left his head. We'll do that next time. We'll do the white. So that's how we got our little birds. Looks like this one could use a little more right there. So there's our little chickadees ready for their heads on the next time when we come next week. So we'll sit those aside, and this is what they're going to look like when we're done. We'll put a little light brown on their breast yet, and then we'll do the black, and then we'll get the little white mask on there that they have. So then, where did my Courtney go? I'm going to show you guys some of the eggs. So we have our little, what she's calling our jelly bean or robin eggs. So these are quite small. They're bigger than a jelly bean. They're probably 3/4 of an inch. She says they're just under an inch. So there's a set of 6 of those. So those are the jelly bean or robin eggs. And we're actually going to paint those as one of our techniques. We'll base coat them with blue, and then we'll do a speckle with either the brush or the toothbrush. These are extra, so if you would want these, you'd have to message us, and Courtney could add it to your invoice. So those are the little set of 6 jelly bean or robin eggs. And then the next set is, to me, these are a bantam, like the bantam chicken. The smaller chicken egg. Did you measure these, Courtney? They're probably like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. And they come in a set of 4. So I'll have to see what, and these are the Doc Holliday mold. They're like a bantam egg, like a smaller chicken egg. And that's a set of 4. And it's the Doc Holliday mold. So that's the Doc Holliday. So those are the bantam. So here we have our little robin eggs, so you can see the difference. Oh, so Courtney brought me a ruler here. Let's see what they actually measure. Oh, they are 2 inches, just over 2 inches actually. So they're just over 2 inches. And that's the Doc Holliday set of 4. So you could add those if you wanted. Then our next set, I would say, is our regular size eggs, regular size chicken egg. And that is about a 2 3/4. Okay, so that's 2 3/4. This is the Riverview set of 4 eggs. So here's our little egg. This is the bantam little chicken egg, and this is like a regular chicken egg. So that's a set of 4 Riverview. Then we have the Emboss Art mold, and it's a set of 3 eggs. So it's a small, medium, and large. And one thing I wanted to explain, which I should have done first, is that this is considered a horizontal egg, or Courtney calls it the lying egg, because the hole is on the bottom. So it's horizontal, meaning it's the long way, and the hole is on the bottom. So this set is the Emboss Art horizontal lying set, and it's small, medium, and large. So then the other one is called a vertical egg, and Courtney calls it the standing egg, and that's because the hole is on the bottom. So it looks like he's standing up. So he is, that's about 3 3/4 inches, and I think that's probably about the same as the horizontal one. Yep. Well, he's more like 4. So then this vertical set is the Emboss Art, and it also has a small, a medium, a large, small, and medium. Although I forgot to bring the medium and the small, but it would be the 3 sizes like this. It's just that the hole is on the bottom, and it's vertical, where this is the horizontal. So you can see that one is standing up and one is lying. So this is horizontal, or this is vertical because the hole is on the bottom, and it's the long way, and then this is the hole is on the bottom and it's horizontal. So this is our large, medium, and small in horizontal, and you can get also large, medium, and small in the vertical. So that and this is emboss art mold too. So when she posts it, this will be the emboss art standing or and vertical, or with the emboss art horizontal, large, medium, and small set of 3. And now your Bisque box mold eggs are a Clay Magic, and it's called a medium egg, and it's about 3.5 inches, and there'll be 2 of those in that mold in your Bisque box that come in your box. So any of the other eggs you're going to have to order extra, and they should be able to fit in your box with free shipping, unless you're getting like 3 dozen of them, then they wouldn't fit. But so if you want extra eggs to do any of the extra techniques, like this set of 4, one of the sets of 4 would be great, or one of the sets of 3, depending upon how many, what you want to do. So then we have another egg, and this is an ox mold. It's a very old mold, but the details really well. It has the cross and the Easter lilies on it. Okay. And it's about 2 3/4 inches. This would be really pretty to do chalks on it. It'd be real pastel. So it's just got the Easter lilies and the cross. And then we have another set of eggs, which is a set of 6 Duncan eggs. And these are they're all embossed, meaning they have a design on them. So we have, they're in a set of 3 though. Do you remember which 3 are 3? Which 3? So they're a set of 3. Oh, which ones were it? Was it? I think it was like this. No, one of these had to be in it. Well, she'll post it in it. It'll be the Duncan, and she's going to do 2 postings, 2 sets of 3, and it may not be exactly the way I have them here, but they're embossed into the clay. So it's embossed. The little design is embossed into the clay. Well, let me get that out of the way. So, and these eggs are about 2.5 inches. So it's the Duncan mold, and there's 6 in one mold, but she's going to put them as 2 sets of 3. So one has a daisy. This one has like the, it's not rickrack, but it's like the eyelet design on it, and then the little stripes. And this one just has the carved in lines and X's. This one has this design in it too. This one has like the eyelet on it, and you could put someone's initial on there, or you could paint a flower in it. And that's on both sides. And then the other one is a little bunny with a bow tie on it. So that's the Duncan eggs that we have. So I think that's it for the eggs. We can just go back over them one more time quick. We're good. We have the jelly beans. I can line them up so you can see the difference. We have the jelly bean, the Doc Holliday bantam egg, the Riverview, kind of the regular size egg, and then we have the small, medium, and large set of 3, either horizontal or vertical. That's the plain eggs, so I think that's about it. If it's not clear, you can always message us. But Courtney will be posting those tomorrow, and you can just message her if you want them, and she'll be able to add them to your invoice. We do have a single standing egg that's a little bit bigger than this one. I didn't bring that one along though. It's a Duncan also. It's a little bit bigger than our Clay Magic one by about 1/2 inch. It's more of an ostrich egg size, yep. So it's probably a 4-inch egg, and I do have a bunch of those too. They're just not fired. So that's how our eggs are going to work. So I guess if anyone has any questions, send us a message, or if you want something, it's better to send a message than to post it on the news feed, because it can get lost in the news feed. Hope you guys have a great week. We're looking forward to shipping out those boxes next week.
And we'll get back to messages.
Courtney will get caught up with you guys with your messages over the weekend. Don't think she forgot about you, but we will take care of you, and if you ordered something, we'll get it to you. If you don't hear from her by what? Monday? Just send her a message. Hey, I sent a message and I don't know if you've seen it or not, but this is what I'd like. But she's really good with all that, so hopefully she doesn't miss anybody. So I think that's about it. Have a good week. We're getting closer to daylight saving time. It was daylight when I drove down here, so that was nice. Pretty soon it'll be daylight when I'm driving home too. So have a great week, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We really appreciate it.